Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Into the Void, where we talk about the most weirdest stuff and all the topics that nobody feels comfortable talking about. And so we're going to do that for you guys. Today's topic is going to be going over what the hell has been going on for the past 14 days and how basically in little to no time at all, how all of our childhoods just got destroyed before our very eyes in regards to the entertainment industry, the music industry, and everything in between. So that's what today's episode is going to be on Into the Void. We are in a dark place, figuratively and quite literally, given the topic of today's discussion. So, Nick, why don't we just jump on into it? Because wow, what life has just taken a 180, and it's nothing short of sad.
Yeah, jumping on Nickelodeon. Yeah,
Mm,
remember that? Let's just rip it out of our hearts, okay?
yep.
So so yeah, it started with I remember seeing like Drake Bell, and I mean, we're probably in the same boat. Drake and Josh was like one of my favorite shows ever.
Hmm.
And even like today, like I just think it's hilarious. Like that and just Avatar The Last Airbender, like top shows ever.
The
And the
animation,
cartoon. And that could be another
the
video. Anyway,
almost 20-year-old animation, but
that is old.
that could
So
be
are
another
we.
episode.
I mean, that's all. So yeah, Quiet on Set was the thing on. Dude, this was everywhere.
Yes.
Everyone was talking about it, and I want to talk about why it's so freaking popular. But yeah, it started with I don't know where I saw it first, but I see like Drake Bell in a room just being recorded. I'm like, yo, what's this? Like, I haven't seen Drake Bell since like Drake and Josh. I know he does his music stuff and everything like that, but I didn't really follow it much. And so, Quiet on Set, I forgot when that came out, maybe early March or something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't long ago at all.
Yeah, and then they recently released like the last episode, the fifth episode, just like a couple weeks ago.
Hmm.
And it essentially just shows how Nickelodeon goes from like this, like everyone loved it and everything, and it was all part of our lives, and then it just turns it into trash and disgust, and like our childhood is just ripped from everything.
Hmm.
And I feel like what I'll start with the popularity of it. I feel like that it was so popular because people in our age, so maybe like mid to late 20s, early 30s. I'd say that's kind of like millennials, I guess. So,
Yeah.
right. So, when that first came out, there were three channels: Nickelodeon, Disney, and Cartoon Network. And like,
Yep.
that's it. Like,
Hmm.
people today, or like kids today, there are thousands of YouTubers out there, hundreds of streamings. There are millions of videos you can view. So, the attention is like spread out. Back then, it's narrowed to those three guys, and I feel like Cartoon Network was later on too. So there was that. So our generation was literally our entire every single person generation watched this, and not only that, but the our parents were also aware of it because they sat us in front of a TV. We watched it, so they're aware of it. So I feel like there were at least like two big generations that just knows what's going on, and the nostalgia aspect just made it even more popular.
Yeah.
So I
It's
feel like that's why it was super popular to begin with.
as soon as I like heard about what was going on in regards to Nickelodeon and just the in-depth, just disgusting nature of what was going on, I'm just like, yeah, all those show like pretty much like Nickelodeon's like, hey, every single show ever that you watched ever, all the shows that basically molded and crafted everyone that's in our generation's personality. Yeah, basically all those shows that you know and love were just created by pretty much pedophiles and just sick individuals that were just had far more darker intentions than just a kid show. And that's what's so just eerie with me, of just the intention behind, is like what we're seeing versus what was going on behind the scenes, like with the directors, of just like they have their secret intentions, but then you have the actors of like the abuse that they were taking, and like the child like labor laws and stuff like that, of just like basically just gaslighting them and stuff, and just pretty much just blackmailing things. And it's, as a whole, it's just disgusting, really.
Yeah, so I'd like to go into it a little bit more. Not too much, because I know so many people have already seen it and talked about it and whatnot. But so I went through all the episodes on HBO Max or Max, whatever. So I didn't know this, that Dan Schneider, he was actually an actor first,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty interesting. Maybe during, I forgot the years. I don't know if it was the 60s or the 80s or whatever. Those are drastically different. However, he was an actor first. And then his first writing career started with all that.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently that started in like
96.
No, like late
Really?
80s.
Damn.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Wow.
And there were multiple seasons, much further than I think we were even aware of, because we kind of grew up and I don't know. So yeah, Dan Schneider, and it seemed like that in the beginning he was kind of just like a goofy guy on set or whatever, because you're kind of working with kids, so I guess that's how you kind of are. And it was just so strange, because having a man being that close to kids is just weird. And as they went like deeper into like the show, they have like the writer's room of how everything is essentially, because all he was saying, like, oh, this is all made for kids, and if it makes kids laugh, like, that's why we do it. It's like, first of all, kids laugh at anything. We have no idea what we're even seeing, looking at, understanding. Like, if there's a laugh track behind what you're saying, we're probably gonna laugh at it. Laugh tracks are weird, aren't they? Like from 20s with
Oh
a
yeah.
bunch of dead
Oh yeah.
people.
Yeah. 5-second tangent. Laugh tracks that are on even on modern day shows up today. Those are laughters recorded from years and years and years ago. So all of those people in the grand scheme of things are dead. So fun fact for you, you're actually hearing dead people's laughter. So when you think about that, I laugh at it because that is a really disturbing fact, because they use the same laugh track with even modern day shows. So you're hearing like the same people that were like laughing in like the 50s or something, or it was like a recording that they overlay with those shows, like the Nickelodeon shows, kid shows, dead laughter in kid shows, and modern day shows. So just a fun fact for you.
Yeah, I thought that was really weird. I feel like some shows might have some of the actors' laughter in there too. I can't recall any specifically, but yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. But yeah, after a while, he was just like abusive, inappropriate, lots of videos of the kids' feet and shit. It's like, what the heck? And when you're looking back at it, it's like, what's going on? And he wasn't even I mean, he was pretty big. Like, Dan Schneider seems like one of those bosses that no one wants to work for. He should be not have a job. Um, I actually looked it up. I think his last show was like 2018 to 2019, and then after that, he was basically kicked off of Nickelodeon.
Oh wow, it finally caught up to him.
Which, like, he basically got away with it. And then it goes into Brian Peck. Before, no relationship to Josh. So before even going down that road, did you see the interview of Dan Schneider?
Yeah,
after
that was sad incarnate. That was just like, is this guy what Ethan right now?
dude?
I was just like, dude, can we just arrest him right now?
First of all, he he was first an actor.
It's been a while.
You would think, because all right, so the interview was complete BS. The worst acting you could possibly imagine. So if he was like an actor or writer, I would have assumed he would have a little bit more, oomph into it.
Yeah, retain some of the, acting. Nah.
So this dude puts an interview on his channel with another guy from Nickelodeon, basically a person he employs, probably paid off.
Mm-hmm.
And this is supposed to look like an independent thing, like, hey, I'm doing the right thing of bring it up and I'm wrong. Like, what was your first, and I want to bring up one part of it, but what was your, like,
the entire thing of just like seeing just the evidence being stacked against him, and then just the first second of watching it, I was just like, not a word he's saying that retaining any of it, because all of it is just like, is this guy for real? It was a joke. I was just like, we're done. Like, we could stop at any time. It was skeeves me out, honestly.
Yeah, the guy giving the interview, I feel like that was the first interview he ever gave. He was like, he worked at one of the, I don't know, restaurants on iCarly or something like that.
Yeah, he was the smoothie bread guy, or smoothie and bagels, whatever the shop was in that show. There wasn't what are the weird dudes?
Yeah, he didn't push back at all. It seemed like Dan was just like shifting the blames to other people, like, oh, I wasn't the only person. There were higher ups that approved what I did. Yeah, well, first of all, you're the one who wrote it. So like that was you. There was also that other thing, like the two female writers, they like split a salary. That's just weird.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the industry. In their position, to be completely honest, I feel like I would have done the same thing though. Like, if I'm just trying to get my foot in the door and they're like, oh, you gotta, we're gonna pay you $2. I'm gonna be like, all right, maybe, I guess.
Back then, back in the days, whatever, but even with like what it led to when it came to like the court cases with Drake Bell, when he was doing charges against Peck, or whatever the guy's name is.
1 second before getting into that, because I have to bring this up with the interview. His cry was the fakest cry ever. Continue.
I'm actually surprised he didn't like not even trying to hide it, put like eye drops in like while it was happening. But anyway,
like,
it was like, what was that? They took the guy giving the interviews under his salary, so he doesn't even question it. It's like, we're gonna edit around that, right? Huh? What? Yeah, don't worry about it. But when it came to the court cases, when Drake Bell went to court, and it was against Peck and all the Nickelodeon executives, that's what freaking irks me about this kind of stuff. Is you have Nickelodeon and you have Dan Schneider with what's Peck's first name?
Brian Peck.
Brian Peck, and there was like a total of like 5 like active like pedophiles on like the Nickelodeon like payroll, and they like knew about it, like they were like registered and everything, and they still like went forward with it. And then the
There's at
court case
least
was
like 3
just
or 4, yeah.
there was just Drake Bell against Peck and tens of Nickelodeon executives
It's like
and
42.
just higher ups. And I'm just like, you're defending this? Like, this is just unacceptable. This is like beyond comprehension right now. And it's just like, and then they could just freaking gaslight the situation of just basically you're an actor and we could just pretty much just shut you down at any point. And then he went to prison for like a little bit for like 11 minutes and then he got out. And now Drake's life is forever affected by this, and because of the abuse that he took through all the years, now he's like been pretty much just brainwashed into thinking the same thing of just having. And I don't, it's a touchy situation when it gets like he's been through kind of some really iffy situations and he has some situations, but given like where he's coming from, I'm not like backing it up, but it's understandable to an extent because that's what he was exposed to all throughout growing up. Same thing how we were. Basically, it's just made to think while we were of that age of just this is okay, this is whatever. So you don't know any better. So it was basically just like programming his mind of just like being like abusive and stuff like that. It keeps going with stuff, but it's really sad to see, especially with just such a character that we grown up with. It feels like we've grown up with these characters, like they're like friends, like we know them at that like level. So to see this happen to them, it's like it feels like it's happening to like a member of your family, and it's like sad that like growing up with it you had this like image of them and now you have this whole other side and it's like it's I don't even know what to say about it. It's just like now what's messed up is you watch these shows now and like you can't ever watch them with like a nostalgic mind or like a right frame of mind anymore because now it's just like this is like the new light that shined on these shows and now you're just watching them and you're like like, and it's with every show on Nickelodeon, so it's like nostalgia, and you're like you just saw your childhood just break right in front of you, and it's like not even a small audience; it's like everyone in our age range, and even like some like parents that grew up still around that. So it's like wow. But like you said before we were recording, it's like it's not even shocking anymore. It's just sad, and that's all it is.
Yeah, I mentioned that obviously it's horrible, and unfortunately that it can't be undone type of thing. But it's unfortunate of how I wish I was more surprised. And this guy had a monopoly on Nickelodeon. He had, so we'll go through some of the shows. All that was the first one. I actually didn't even acknowledge that all that was actually the first one. Then the Amanda show, dude. What happened to Amanda Bynes?
Wow.
If
she crawled out of a pipe, man.
Oh man, I can't even imagine what she went through. Like you can't even blame her. And she was like looking back at what she did, the kid was like 12, 13 of all the stuff she did. Like she was doing different outfits, different characters, different shows, and all that's everywhere. Side note, child labor laws, like hello, like does that not count for child actors? Apparently not. What really, I mean, the whole thing is obviously rough, but what I didn't know was Drake's dad. They were very close.
Yeah.
And he saw it before it even happened. His dad was like, I don't like this guy, Peck. Yeah. And then eventually Peck just wedged his way between them, saying that like his dad was stealing money and stuff. A lot of it was just taxes. And apparently, first, they didn't get paid as much as we thought, and they don't have residuals or royalties, whatever it's called. So every time that it's watched, like, they're not making any money from this now. It's their face, their acting, all that stuff. They're not getting anything, which is wild. I feel like any other, like, adult actor, again, I'm not too familiar with the industry, but, like, they're getting money. So, his dad saw this. He eventually went to live with his mom. I don't know what the hell happened to her. She was just off to the side. And then that's where it happened. So, like, if he stayed with his dad, this could have been avoided possibly. And that's really rough. So I can't even imagine being the dad in that situation. But
yeah.
So yeah, Amanda Show. Drake and Josh was after. Then there was like iCarly, Victorious, Zoe 101.
I low key really liked Zoe 101. Just putting that out there. I thought that show was friggin' fire.
Really? I think I only saw like an episode or two.
It was a fun time. It was a fun time.
I don't know if I said Victorious. I don't know what happened to that girl.
She dropped off because she like saw what was kind of going on. I think I'm like
really
paraphrasing whatever, but she like kind of like knew about it, saw the favoritism towards some female actors, and she's just like, nope, and that's why you don't see her anymore.
Really?
It's like she just got out of there, took the money and ran, which is still what we'll get to this of basically the hush money going around, but we'll get there.
Yep. So there was that. Sam and Katt, which I didn't even watch. That was when we were a bit older, so I feel like we were
didn't care for it at all.
I never seen it.
iCarly tickled a nerve, but Sam and Katt just did not do it for me at all.
I never.
Same thing with Victorious, just
I feel like most of the people watched iCarly because Crazy Steve was in it.
Freaking amazing actor.
He's
to this day he has moments.
Yeah, he's great. So yeah, fun fact. So Drake Bell, he's 37 now. Crazy Steve, I forgot his name. I can look it up. I forgot. But he's 47 now. So he was 10 years older than them. But he seems like an even cooler guy because he in like iCarly, when Dan was trying to like do his shit, he was like trying to stand up like for the younger and like trying to distance themselves from Dan, but yeah, there was that. There's Kenan and Kel. That's another one, right? I'm assuming so.
I mean, it was on vibes. I'm not sure. I honestly don't know.
I mean, they were on all that and on Nickelodeon, so I'm assuming that was another one.
Another fire show.
Yeah. So yeah, those are all the shows. Maybe a couple more that I'm leaving out.
Like all of them.
Pretty much Monopoly.
SpongeBob,
So yeah, Brian Peck. Dude, this guy, he even worked with Leo.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Leo DiCaprio. So you could only imagine what he possibly went through, and that could be a possible reason why he's so big. Because it seems like in that industry, like, oh, if you do something for me, then I'll get you further or something. So that's another thing. But yeah, this dude he was sentenced to what, 16 months?
Yeah.
Not even half a year. And I think he gets out, what, max 6 months? If not less. And then the piece of shit goes to Disney. He gets hired at Disney. So I'm like, okay, the same pieces of garbage are Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And then it doesn't only stop there. So that was with Zach and Cody and stuff. And it seems like every child actor is messed up.
Oh, yeah.
Of what they went through. Like you saw it with basically anyone.
That's definitely not a normal childhood to be growing up in.
Yeah.
Of just being on set all the time, being around adults all the time, cameras. That's not a normal upbringing. And yeah, to see how these kids kind of turned out further down the line, it's like minus all the like abuse and stuff of just that's not normal. Like you're supposed to be going to school, having friends, and that kind of stuff. So just being in front of a camera from a very young age, some of these kids I've seen, it was like with Amanda Bynes, it's like 8 or 11, 12 years old, and it's just like that is like children level. So to be constant like that's all you know, and that's how she kind of like brainwashed in a bit of just, oh yeah, you could live with this dude that's like in his like 30s or 40s or something, and she's like what, just barely getting into middle school, which is
That's
like
right. She
this
lived with
is
them.
like this is so bad.
Yeah, it's wild. So he eventually went to Disney. And so, yeah, at that point, it's like, okay, that destroys Nickelodeon for us. That also indirectly destroys Disney for us.
Mhm.
And you know damn well it doesn't stop there.
Why wouldn't?
You
It's
know that it's the
streaming.
same thing with Hollywood. It's the same
Mhm.
thing with basically everything. So that's another. So why I'm interested in this, because normally with celebrities, I don't care. Like, this is just, like, it doesn't affect my life. I'm gonna go to work and, do what I have to do. But this is bigger
It's like
because
all of our childhoods.
it's childhood's nostalgia, but it's also like, it's
It
literally
formed us.
everything.
Yeah.
It's like the entertainment industry, which we could then move into like Diddy, that he got raided whenever a couple weeks ago.
One of his houses, he's
Actually,
got a
two at the same time.
he's got a tracker on his jet that he wasn't even on, and then he was in Miami the entire time, or all this nonsense. I watched a few documentaries on uh, what Diddy's about, and just another charismatic character that's just trying to ruin everything for everybody, and he walks away a freaking billionaire. Which, come the next couple of days, I'm pretty sure he could just buy out anybody
Oh
anyway.
yeah,
Which, going right back to Nickelodeon for just a second, how they just basically gave everybody hush money to keep everybody's mouth shut. Of just like you have with Sam and Cat, you have Ariana Grande. I'm not She's not my cup of tea. Just whatever. She's in the music again, transferring over into the music industry. I've heard. I don't know how truthful this is. Everything's allegations. You have to preface that with everything you say. Like everyone's kind of like watching what they
allegedly.
say. Yeah, because Nickelodeon and Disney especially, they'll just come after anybody that like say the wrong thing. What anyway? But I think they're giving like $300,000 to all the actors, basically like, hey, just don't say nothing, and
I
that's
heard
it.
that.
And the people are speaking out that are on that documentary of speaking out, and then you have the people that aren't, and they're like keeping quiet, like they're not even bringing it up, they're not like doing anything about it. I'm just like, interesting. Like you could buy some people out and you can't, because it's like we have to like crack down on this, because this is not just like a hush thing that you can just sweep underneath the rug. This is like serious accusation, like of just allegations, whatever. So it's, I don't know, but I guess you could see who is kept quiet are more about the money than getting justice served amongst the entertainment industry. But it's the same thing transferring over into the entertainment industry of just music and basically a crime boss or just a murderer has been just doing his thing for decades now, and no one apparently. It's another freaking rainbow of nonsense that it just doesn't stop. It's just another. It's just crap over here, and now it's look over there. It's just the same amount of crap, if not worse.
Yeah, touching on your buyouts, essentially, I heard in iCarly, Sam, I believe the name was. I mean, I don't know her real name, but no, Janet McCurdy, actually,
Yeah.
if I recall correctly. Yeah, I think she was trying to get paid off, but she didn't take it.
Mm.
So good on her. And I heard, because you would think Drake and Josh, that Josh would be like, he would be saying stuff right now.
Mm.
And he might be talking slightly about it, but I don't know about him, man. I
He
feel like
said
he
he
was paid off
reached out.
too.
He reached
He
out
did,
to Drake.
yeah.
On like the low key though, like he didn't make it too public. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't say much because I don't know too much about it. It's just weird. You know, I feel like they seemed very close, and in reality, they don't seem close.
Mm.
And it's just strange. But yeah, going into Diddy if we choose so. So, this dude, I was never into anything about him. The only thing I remember is from the soundtrack of Godzilla, Cashmere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he says that maybe 67 times in the song. I just think the beat's awesome.
Because it's someone else's.
Yeah, it's literally from Led Zeppelin. Anyway, so this dude gets raided twice. So I'm like, okay, I knew nothing about this guy, so I started doing some research. And I saw that a huge interview of a podcast blew up 2 months prior with Katt Williams.
Mm-hmm.
So he was on whatever that podcast is, Club Shay Shay or something.
Yeah.
So I listened to that one, and he was going in, man. He didn't care, and it seems like that's who Katt is. He seems pretty intelligent, cool guy, actually. So I want to do a little bit more research into him. But why it blew up is because he basically called out that something was going to happen to Diddy 2 months ago, and then it did. So people like this dude predicted it. So if you listen to that interview, he was calling out lots of names. He was talking about Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Kevin Hart. He brought up Oprah's name. And that was very interesting. So I started getting more into him. He was on Rogan as well. So did you see that interview? What'd you think of that?
Yeah, that was very eye-opening. Again, along the same like spectrum of just it doesn't shock me. Like really, it's something that it's something that it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming. It's like when you hear about these things, it's like, yeah, they're celebrities, man. It's like if you're at such a level that you could just buy anybody out, buy out of any situation. If you eliminate consequence from any situation, have you ever heard of the Stanford prison experiment? Like you're just going to do anything because you're just exempt from consequences. If you eliminate consequence from anything, chaos ensues. So when you have all the money in the world and everybody knows who you are and you're a very public figure, then you could basically pretty much like Diddy's situation, get away with murder allegedly, like just like all this stuff. He's basically a freaking hiring hitmen to whack people allegedly. Like and I was just like, there's like so much stuff on it, and I'm just like, dude, like it's all adding up. He's oh my god, it doesn't surprise me. But going back to Katt Williams and that stuff, it didn't surprise me, and it was stuff that was. I feel that we need more people like Katt Williams bringing up this kind of stuff, because it's getting to a point in life where we can't be silent anymore. It's just like we have some people have a lot to lose, some people have nothing to lose, and it's like he's at a position where he is a celebrity, he is a like legendary OG comedian, and he's at a level where it's like he's throughout his specials he's just always spoke the truth and just always basically just kept it real, and that's what's amazing. There's not more people like that. There's no philosophers these days. There's no common sense thinking people out there. And when you see something like him at his caliber, it's really interesting that such a public figure amongst the celebrity status is the one calling them out. And it's just like, whoa, now you start to listen. And he's throwing shots and he's accurate of what's happening, and he's just like, listen, and in the coming months you're gonna see people like just start showing their true colors, and it's just like I could see this because celebrities they could basically do whatever the hell they want because they're who they are.
I mean, just the simple thought of bail. What the hell is that?
The legal system it makes me hear my skin age on my bones. It is so aggravating when you hear the freaking bail or just talking your charge down to a lower charge. It makes no sense. It's like you could be doing 90 in a school zone and then the charge gets lowered to improper equipment. It's like, what? That has nothing to do with, and like it's just lowering it to a lesser sentence, whatever. But bail, it's like, so let me get this straight. You could like murder somebody. Let's just pick the most easiest and the most exaggerated one. It's like if you murder somebody, oh, okay, your bail is set at 3 million. I pay the 3 million. You're telling me I'm walking out of the door? Like, pretty much,
Right? Like,
And
isn't that what happens?
I'm like, wait a minute. Which 5 second tangent. This was hilarious when I was in BOCES, and we were going back and forth with law enforcement. They're like, okay, Dan, if you murder somebody, what is the minimum charge sentence of jail time of what would they get? And instead of saying me, she asked me this, and instead of saying the correct answer of going minimum of a year, which is a felony charge.
Wait, it's minimum of just a year?
Well, a misdemeanor is less than a year. A felony is more than a year.
Okay,
So
yeah.
starting with that, but whatever. She's like, what's the minimum charge that they would get? Instead of answering it, I said, well, who did the murder? She's like, no, like, what's the minimum charge? I'm like, oh, I heard the question. I'm like, it's who did it? Because me committing a murder, I could go to jail for killing one person. I could go to jail until I die. Like, I could go to jail, not even like a life sentence, like multiple life sentences. Like, I could be like 70 something in jail for killing one person. But if like a celebrity does something, like with Peck, he went to jail for 11 minutes and that was it. And I was just like, this guy is a sicko, and just because of who he is, he could just get out of any situation, and it bothers me. A lot of things bother me, but that really bothers
me. Yeah, like celebrities, they could just do anything, and that's what, like Dan Schneider, that nothing's gonna happen to him. No. Obviously, we saw with Peck, nothing happened to him. A slap in the wrist, basically. Diddy, like, he has so much money, you think anything's gonna happen to him? And I also heard that we'll go into that rabbit hole too, but he's like a supporter of the Democratic Party. So he also is backed by politicians and stuff. Like, so if he goes away, then their careers are ruined. You think that's going to happen? Good luck with that.
it's like base like obviously millionaires and billionaires are going to be friends with only millionaires and billionaires.
Yeah.
And that's going to be other celebrities or even politicians or people that were grandfathered into like royalty level like wealth and stuff like that. So they're just going to be pretty much defending each other because they're going to be making friends with the lawmakers and they're going to be amongst that same in that they have with the now say tax exception like just like the rabbit holes that they sneak in, they just have, I don't know, Swiss bank accounts, whatever, of just basically going that route because ain't no celebrity being friends with normal people. It just doesn't work. We're
Yeah.
not of the same lifestyle or tax bracket. So to them, they're probably thinking we ain't got nothing in common. So they're going to be defending each other.
I mean, yeah, that's what happened with Peck. All those people defended him. And with Diddy, I mean, we could go into that rabbit hole. I was trying to think of something, but I forgot. Anyway, so with Diddy, so it seems like literally, I originally thought that like any billionaire or any like famous person or massive amounts of wealth and resources and stuff, you can't trust them.
No.
And for the most part, I feel like that's true, but I'm starting to see that there is a divide. There are some people that might be famous, they have some wealth behind them that don't mesh with their counterparts. So, like, not all billionaires I don't fully still trust any of them, but they're not the same. And it seemed like you could look at Katt Williams. He has some good money and, popularity and fame and everything, but he's not the same as all the other celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there is a slight divide, and I don't really know which team has more people on it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are there more dirtbag celebrities? Which I feel like that's the one.
Well,
And
no, I'm sorry. Keep going.
and yeah, that's essentially it. Or like, is there essentially the people that are speaking up? I feel like they're the minority. There's not a lot of them because if they do, their career's ruined. They can't. They're not going to get paid anymore. Then they can't survive. So that's why they're quiet. So you can't even, you can't blame them either. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
What I like to think of sometimes is when you think about celebrities or just like, yeah, we'll just stick with celebrities for now, or like people in the entertainment industry, like actors or musicians and stuff like that. What I like to think of sometimes you'll really like an artist and then you'll find out that they are just a complete garbage human being when it becomes if they're an artist whatever, and then like your whole view on the whole their all of their music just kind of like gets altered, and now you're just like, I don't know where I stand. Same thing with actors. Maybe they have like some drama going on, whatever. But what I like to kind of keep reminding myself is if you like their music or you like their movies or entertainment, whatever they're doing, they are still human beings. So human beings are far from perfect. So to think like they're of this celebrity status or of this fame status to exclude them for any of these things, like I don't know what the percentage is of like, I don't know, maybe one out of every 10 people. I've no idea what the statistics. One out of every 10 people is a freaking pedophile or like a Dan Schneider, whatever. It's pretty common. That's like it's probably even more, I don't know these days, but they are still people. They could make amazing content, amazing music, amazing media, whatever. They could be a garbage human being and they could just be one of those people that just don't get it. And if you just like their stuff, whatever, that's cool. But that doesn't hold them exempt from just being a normal person off the side of the street. That could be a cookies and cream, boring, white bread, vanilla bean, normal person, or the most sick, person you have ever come across in decades, you know. So it's a coin flip, really. But I don't like to hold celebrities to that standard of like, oh, they're of this level, so they can't be into those kinds of things. It's like, no, it's more likely than you think. With Katt Williams, I like that he's the one that's of the celebrity status, but is speaking up about this stuff because he's just like the rest of the world right now. He's fed up with certain things, and he's one of those people that even if you're of the middle class or just like the lower class, maybe working a 9 to 5, that are just fed up with how the world is these days, and he's probably in the same position because maybe he was amongst us at one point because every celebrity was at some point. So he probably has that same mindset, and he's just one day is just someone just snaps and gets fed up and just unleashes everything, which is exactly what he did. And I think that's not only takes balls to do that, but it's like someone really has to say it, and like someone in the spotlight really has to make it known. And the way he did it, what I think why he did it is because not only is he fed up, but what he's saying is factual. So it's not like he's just spreading drama or something like that. So I would imagine for him it's a lot more easier to say because it has a foundation to sit on, and he's not just spinning words that don't carry any weight.
Yeah, definitely agreed. Like, if there's truth behind it, we shouldn't be scared to say it. And definitely in this society, I feel like that's where we are. But I feel like what Diddy did, or I can't, allegedly, dude has cameras all over his house. So it seems like, I think like an ex-bodyguard spoke up recently of like he confirming some stuff. But he was basically trying to get other celebrities, princes, politicians, just blackmail on him basically. So they're under him, and you hear this especially in like the rap industry. A lot of lyrics are like "sold your soul to the devil" and stuff. Like that's basically it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's definitely not, again, the last one. Like there was Harvey Weinstein, there was Epstein, his island and stuff, and it's just similar garbage. But I did more of deep dive onto like Diddy's situation, and it seems, and 50 Cent was speaking up about some stuff too. It seems like he's a hilarious guy and he knows some shit. So I'd be curious of what he knows. They don't get along, but anyway. So under Diddy, there was Usher. So when Usher was 13, he, I guess, was brought to Diddy or founded by Diddy or something like that.
Yeah.
And then there was it was called like Flavor Camp or some shit. So like he stayed at Diddy's house for like a couple days. And this just doesn't make sense to me. Like their parents allowed this. This 40-year-old dude with your 13-year-old son. So there was Usher. So he had some shit going on, and he got big. Same exact thing with Justin Bieber. Usher found him and then brought him to Diddy, which is weird. And kind of similar age, I'd say maybe however old he was, I don't know, like, 13, 14, 15, even 16, I don't know. And he ended up staying with him for 2 days, which makes no sense. Why? Dude's like 40. So those guys were under him. And it seems like actually how Diddy came up, there was a similar situation between him. I forgot the dude's name, but there was someone that like Diddy ended up, I don't want to say working for, but founded him, and he was like abused or whatever somehow. And And essentially Diddy became that same person.
Mhm.
And then he did it to Usher. And then it seems, I don't know too much detail, but it seems like Usher did that to Justin Bieber. Now, I was never a huge fan of Bieber. I actually hated the kid. But knowing this, I'm like, wait a minute. Because he completely, I don't want to say fell off because he's still big.
Mm.
But if you just look at him,
Yeah,
he completely
it's
changed. It almost like Amanda Bynes changed.
yeah. I would say,
And
just real quick, of you saying how would the parents allow this, like what's going on? I would say with like a Nickelodeon, Drake Bell situation, or like a Usher or Justin Bieber situation. A lot of the times it's like, how would the parents allow this? It's like one, they would spread gossip of just like with Drake Bell's situation. Oh, your dad's taking some of your money, so they would try to like separate them that way. But also, you would have. I forgot what I was gonna say. Continue. Keep going. It'll come to me in a
yeah, no,
second.
that's a good point. Because
Yes. Okay. Yeah. The kids of the parents are the breadwinners.
I was going to say that.
So they're not going to say anything because they're like probably a mechanic or like a hairstylist that doesn't make shit. So now they're just like, oh, we have a kid that could do 1 hour of recording a freaking Drake and Josh episode, and they get 13 grand each, like in a day. Like, okay,
That's a weird situation. Being a kid, like you don't know anything about life, and you're making the most money, and
and
you're
it's
like, it's so strange to be in that position.
and the same thing of how celebrities, they're exempt from consequences and everything. That's to say the children's celebrities, their parents are great parents, or this, that, and the other thing. When they were going into the parents' history of these kids growing up, every single kid that they worked with came from a broken household. So they're like, oh, how could sane parents allow this? It's like some parents are not there, and that's why they targeted these kids, because
Yeah,
they're so easily manipulative and come from broken households. So this was more than easy and possible to do that. But
that is true. With Justin Bieber, I'm pretty sure that his father walked out on them.
yeah,
So there was just the mother, so it's like already kind of broken. So it does make sense. I'm not sure of Usher's situation, but that might be similar. But so those were some other names. But I also heard some more because he's closely involved with Diddy, is Jay-Z
mm,
and Beyonce.
yeah, more billionaires.
Yeah, exactly. So it seems like Jay-Z, he might be a bit smarter of how he approaches it, and it seems like Beyonce is no fairy either. It seems I'm
Does run
hearing
her own
that
stuff.
she could possibly be even worse than them. So, like, it seems like all these big names are starting to come out. Possibly. They're just rumors at this point. But, like you said before, all these famous people, all these wealth, they all stick together.
Oh yeah, they're
So
all friends.
if one of them does go down, I wouldn't say they all go down because again, they're famous, so I don't think that would happen. But it's interesting how all these other people start, and they're not even like defending Diddy because no one wants to. And it seems like type of dude he is, he will step over anyone's throat to save his own ass. He has
Oh
no
yeah.
loyalty. But it's interesting how Jay-Z and Beyonce came out, and it seems it's again, I'm no expert of what they're about, but it seems like they don't care about each other. I'm pretty sure they live in separate houses, and it seems like the only reason why they got married is so Beyonce was pretty big, obviously, and Jay married her to get to the level he's at now. So it could have just been a strategic move so they both get bigger.
Tax exceptions.
Tax write-offs.
Yeah, Beyonce's situation, I could definitely see that, because at this point I could see a lot of celebrities just being like broken down over the years of just next month, who knows who's the next celebrity that's going to be on the chopping block. And it could be anybody, and it'll probably most likely be the exact same situation or just slightly different, because they're of like a cult like status of whatever they got going into. Beyonce, not the biggest fan. Single Ladies and Crazy in Love is fire, but beyond that is ain't nobody playing by the rules if you're a billionaire. That's my outro.
Like, dude, it's a billionaire is making $1 million 1,000 times. You can't do that normally.
No.
Something's up.
No, that's not possible.
And I will say, I love all like the names that are coming out. So I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa! Like it's like everywhere. So Oprah's name came up.
Mm-hmm.
Could easily see it. It seems she. So there were multiple photos of her with Harvey Weinstein. Her with, was it Diddy?
Probably.
I wouldn't doubt it. Like her with just all these people, Bill Cosby, like all these people that are basically trash. And like you said, they're all hanging out. You think they're any different? Probably not. And it seems like they will, if anyone's coming for them, they're going to take them out. They're going to because they have so much power, they'll control the news and the narrative to just switch it on them, and they are just untouchable. I heard other names like Ellen DeGeneres, because she had Diddy on so many times, people are starting to question her. And it's just wild.
It's who you know.
Also, so I remember the first interview I saw of Diddy. I thought it was interesting because he talked to Ray Dalio. So if you don't know who Ray Dalio is, he's a hedge fund manager.
Of course.
So our cousin Bobby, he works for Paul Tudor Jones. Similar level, Ray Dalio. And they were at some, I don't know, award ceremony. And because Diddy is close to Dalio, like name-wise, alphabetically, they started talking, supposedly. And then they had an interview together talking about, rich people shit. So, which was kind of interesting. I don't know if anyone's talking about this, and I'm not throwing Ray Dalio's name under the bus. I think it's interesting, though, because Diddy isn't a normal dude. He's not just going to talk to you because he thinks you're interesting. He wants something from you.
Yeah, there's an admission fee.
Yeah. So I almost feel like I could be completely wrong. I have no idea. It feels like Diddy had this hedge fund manager, because I think the interview was at his house, come to his house because he probably wanted to get something on him to have control of a hedge fund manager.
Won't surprise me.
And that's pretty big, and I feel like I haven't heard that name out there. So, and they haven't done anything together. I'm wondering if Ray was like, wait a minute, I don't trust this guy, and just left.
Okay, bye.
He's like, wait a minute. So I think those are all the with, if you remember, with Hawaii with the huge wildfires, I still don't know what the hell happened there.
Volcanoes, man.
So there was supposed wildfires and burned everyone's houses down. You know, there were some theories that like they wanted to do that so all the billionaires would just buy up all the real estate, right? Oprah was one of them. They're like, oh, you know, send help. I'm not going to send help. I'm a billionaire. You guys send help. So it was her and The Rock. They were talking together. Because I guess he's Hawaiian. I don't know. I don't really know. But they were working together, and people didn't really like that. They're like, you guys have so much money. Why don't you do something?
You could buy Hawaii.
Which they probably will, and they're going to have all the prime real estate. I don't think that's too far-fetched.
Do you think when World War III happens that all the celebrities are just going to go to like an undisclosed location, like Hawaii, for example?
Well, I think you're wrong because I think World War III is happening.
Yeah.
There's literally wars all over the world, and I'm pretty sure that's what World War means. So technically, I think we're in it. An underground bunker. I don't really. I mean,
like a fallout shelter that is just going to be like they're going to be serving like baby tears for like beverages or something.
And a adrenochrome. I don't know if there's like that. I definitely think there for like super important people like presidents and stuff like that. There's definitely like underground, you know, stuff for just in case.
Owl gods.
But I mean, that might be a reason why they want to go to Mars. I mean,
they bought Mars.
Like honestly, like if we're going to become interplanetary species,
Mm-hmm.
who do you think's gonna go up there? Not you and me. It's gonna be the 1%. Yeah, we're gonna be the
a
freaking
halo ring in space, and only the rich and powerful live there, and everybody that's crap, that 99% is just going to be stuck here, and it's going to become a hostile wasteland of just pretty much just a dust planet, and that's it.
Ready Player One. Like what do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah. It's like, oh, let's colonize Mars, and I'm like, and you think you're going up there? It's like, nah, son. Freaking
Elon,
Diddy
he's
ass going up there.
Yeah, he's gonna have the first ticket to the moon. That's probably gonna happen soon, like vacations to space and stuff.
Tax exemption.
Another tax write-off. The fuel to the moon cost me $1 million.
You owe this money. I'll just leave the damn planet. I don't know anybody, any money up there.
That is true.
That's the next step.
I wanted to ask you because I started thinking of this quote from somewhere since all this Diddy stuff. And I don't know who said it, but they were like, this ain't no puffy party. Was that Chris Rock? Was that Chris Tucker? Who said that? It was in some movie and I forgot where.
Puppy.
Was that in Rush Hour or something? I don't think
that eludes me.
Because I remember hearing that, and I didn't understand it, but now I'm like, oh, he's talking about Puffy's parties.
Mm.
I feel like it was one of those.
I believe so.
You know?
It's going to come to me at a random point in time, and I'll be like, "Girl, that's it."
Yeah, like probably midnight tonight.
Dragon Tales, you know. It's going to be that kind of moment.
Other than that, I think those are all the names that came to my rabbit hole search.
Yeah, basically, your childhood's a lie. Your present is the reality is more strange than fiction. Quote, Katt Williams.
It really is.
And the future, my God, what is there to behold? Probably nothing better. Because I see it just not even getting. It's gonna get nothing but worse, honestly.
Dude, this year is going to be weird because all this stuff is just starting. The presidential election, it's not going to be good. And I don't trust any of them.
No. Celebrities, politicians. I trust my barber. You know, like that's it. Like, friggin' the only person we can trust is Tobey Maguire and J.K. Simmons.
Are you serious? Meat. That's a Christmas meat. Look at that. Oh man.
That's freaking it. That's just nonsensical nonsense. That's our motto here. just disclosing the most weirdest of the weird topics that people are afraid to talk about, especially people that have worked with Diddy. But anyway, that was the I don't know what episode we're on. Freaking another episode in the books of Into the Void. I'm talking about this just this you feel this tangible uncomfortableness in the air. That's where we thrive. This has been Nick and Dan of Into the Void, of talking about stuff and stuff. Bye everybody.
Yeah.